What if I told you the only thing keeping you small isn't fate, talent, or luck? It's a prison built out of your own beliefs. Right now, there's a voice in your head replaying every reason you'll fail. That voice calls you average. It whispers you're not ready, not worthy, not meant for more. But here's the secret. Those chains, they're made of words, not iron. You forged them yourself, link by link, every time you doubted, delayed, or called yourself not enough. Most people never realize the thickest walls they'll ever face are invisible, but the Stoics knew it. The most brutal battles are always fought in silence, inside your mind. You're not here to be realistic. You're here to prove that impossible is just a story that scared people tell themselves. And today, that story ends. This video is your turning point. You'll learn how to destroy self-imposed limits, reprogram your thinking, and turn fear into fuel. You'll discover 7 Stoic rules for limitless growth, each one a tool to break barriers, transform setbacks into stepping stones, and move from maybe to I will. By the end, you won't just imagine a stronger and freer version of yourself. You will become one. You'll know the exact path to build it, step by step. Here's the truth. These walls don't fall with a single push. They crack, they crumble, they collapse every time you show up, question the story, and take action despite doubt. That's how Stoics built inner freedom, and you can too. Welcome to Stoic Philosophy Daily. This is where your story matters. Share your journey, your biggest struggle, or a moment where you broke your own limits in the comments below. Every comment you leave is a gift. Here, your voice matters. We read with care, answer with heart, and treat your growth as part of our own. This is more than a channel. It's a circle of strength. Drop a comment. I train my mind like a Stoic. Subscribe for the whole journey. Let's break the limits together. 1. If you can imagine it, you can achieve it. Picture your biggest goal as a door right in front of you. There's no lock, no secret, just a handle waiting for your hand. Yet most people never even reach out, held back not by reality but by a mind convinced they don't belong, confident that only the chosen few are allowed through. The truth is, imagination is your real passport. The moment you dare to touch that handle, you feel a shift, like the first crack of morning light breaking into a long, closed room. Remember being a child, building whole worlds from thin air. That power never left you. It's only sleeping under layers of fear and self-doubt, waiting for you to call it back. Genius isn't a requirement, permission is. Dare to dream, and let that belief inspire you to take action. Robin Sharma was right. Everything is created twice, first in your mind, then in reality. Every great creator, from Da Vinci sketching the impossible to Edison envisioning a world lit by ideas before any bulb existed, began by trusting their inner vision more than the doubts around them. Imagination wasn't fantasy, it was a blueprint. And the instant they imagined boldly, something fundamental shifted. The impossible became not if, but when. The Stoics understood this long before science confirmed it. Seneca said, "Fate leads the willing and drags those who resist." Your destiny expands or contracts according to the boundaries you accept in your own mind. Research shows vivid visualization lights up the brain as if you're already living it. Your mind rehearses success before it ever happens. It's like lifting in a mental gym. Each repetition strengthens belief, dissolves hesitation, and shrinks the fear that once felt enormous. Here's your practice. Each morning, close your eyes and picture your goal in vivid detail. See it, hear it, feel it as if it's already real. Notice how that image quiets your doubt for a moment and anchors you. Then, upgrade your self-talk. Replace "I can't" with "I am learning. I will get there." As Epictetus said, it's not things that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. That applies to your self-image as much as anything else. Change your inner story, and your mind will follow. Most importantly, act as if you are already that future version. Don't wait for permission. If you want to be a writer, write. If you wish to strengthen, train. Each action is another brick in the identity you're building, until one day, the person you once imagined is the person you've become. At Stoic Daily, we believe imagination is the blueprint of reality. Drop "I create my future" in the comments. What vision will you bring to life this week? 2. Don't rely on motivation. Build a system. Motivation is a spark, but it burns out fast. How many times have you promised yourself, after watching an inspiring video or hearing a bold plan, that tomorrow you will start? Tomorrow, I will change everything. But you wake up with good intentions, and by next week, you are right back where you started. Why? Because motivation is like lighting a fire with newspaper, hot and bright, then gone in a gust of wind. If you let feelings dictate your habits, you set yourself up for disappointment, and the cycle repeats. The Stoics never waited to feel like it. Marcus Aurelius did not build an empire on mood swings. He lived by systems, rising early, practicing morning reflection and journaling, and training his mind before the world demanded anything from him. Epictetus reminded us that the more complex the task, the greater the glory in overcoming it. Real growth happens not in the comfort zone, but in the structure you create, especially when your emotions beg you to stop. Take a look at your mornings. If you start your day on autopilot, using your phone, social media, and rushing out the door, you are not steering your life. Your habits are. The most disciplined people design routines so that action becomes inevitable. Like a Roman soldier training out of necessity, not passion, they make their habits automatic. When your goals become non-negotiable duties, not options, excuses lose their power. This is not just Stoic wisdom. Modern science backs it up. James Clear wrote, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." Here is how to start. Build routines that work, even when energy is low. Lay out your gym clothes the night before. Put your book on your pillow so you cannot ignore it. Turn desires into personal rules. I wake up at 6, no matter what. Do not chase perfection, chase consistency. One bad day does not erase progress. Quitting does. Every time you reset after a slip, you are forging resilience, turning discipline into instinct. You are not your mood or your motivation. You are the system you build and the actions you repeat, especially when you do not feel like it. The world belongs to those who move, even when their feelings say stop. At Stoic Daily, we believe progress is built on what you repeat, not what you feel. Drop "I build my system" in the comments. What is one routine you will set in stone this week? 3. No one goes far without failing 1,000 times. Every incredible journey is paved with stumbles. The only people who never fail are those who never dare enough to outgrow their old lives. Most let the fear of failure paralyze them, afraid of change, fearful of being wrong, and terrified of facing the unknown. They ask, "What if I try and fall?" But rarely, what if losing is part of becoming? That is the real trap. Failure grows into a monster in the mind long before it becomes reality. The pain is not in the fall, it is in the story we tell ourselves about what it means. Will people judge me? Will I look foolish? Was I never good enough? Quietly, these questions build a cage around your potential. The Stoics saw failure not as a dead end, but as tuition, the price for real growth. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, lost everything in a shipwreck. His plans and wealth vanished in a single wave. For most, that would be the end. But for Zeno, it was the start. He discovered philosophy, rebuilt his life in Athens, and later said, "By suffering shipwreck, I had a good journey." That shift in perspective is everything. Destruction became redirection. When failure stopped looking like punishment, it became a possibility. We are taught to see failure as a wall we cannot climb. But for the Stoics, and for anyone who dares to grow, failure is the staircase. Once you realize that, the wall shrinks. Remember how you learned to walk? Hundreds of falls before your first run. Back then, failure did not sting. There was no story, no shame. Neuroscience now proves it. Every mistake strengthens your brain. Progress demands resistance. Growth happens in the tension, not in the comfort. Here is your challenge. The next time you fail or hesitate, pause and ask, what is the story I'm telling myself? Is this fear protecting me or preventing me? Do not retreat. Do not take it personally. Every setback is just a signal. Adjust, adapt, and keep moving. When you face failure with curiosity instead of fear, everything shifts. It is no longer a verdict. It is a compass. The more you walk toward what scares you, the stronger and steadier you become. That is real success. Not loud, not dramatic, quiet, unbreakable. At Stoic Daily, we believe failure is not your enemy. It is your mentor. Drop "failure is my teacher" in the comments. What is one failure you will reframe and face this week? 4. Are you willing to pay the price? Picture a young blacksmith's apprentice, sweating over an anvil, dreaming of forging the strongest sword in history. His master hands him a bar of metal and says, "If you want true strength, you must strike it 1,000 times, plunge it into ice-cold water, and repeat again and again before you are even close." Impatient, the apprentice rushes, strikes a few times, and plunges it in. The blade snaps. The lesson is clear. Greatness is not built with shortcuts, but through fire, pressure, and relentless repetition. What the apprentice felt in that moment is the same trap most people fall into today. They want the result, but not the grind. They confuse desire with discipline, dreaming with doing, and forget that pressure is what forges the strongest steel. This is the real test. Everyone wants to succeed, to break limits, to become their best. But who is truly willing to pay the price? Psychologically, wanting is easy. It lets you fantasize with no risk. But real commitment, showing up, sacrificing comfort, embracing repetition, means facing down doubt, fatigue, and ego every day. The Stoics knew that nothing great comes without sacrifice. Seneca wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Wanting is passive. Daring is active. The gap between the two is where most people are lost. So, what are you willing to invest? Psychologists say mastery takes 10,000 hours of deliberate practice. Did Kobe Bryant only train when the mood struck? Did Mozart only compose when inspired? Of course not. They built greatness in the shadows, in silence, when no one was watching. Their minds were trained to keep going when motivation faded, when comfort tempted, when the world offered excuses. The real difference was not talent. It was the will to endure the boring, the lonely, the uncelebrated repetitions that forged champions. Be honest. Are you committed to your future self, or just hoping luck will show up? Most say they want change, but their actions show something else. Checking the phone for a purpose, postponing hard work while expecting significant results, wanting rewards at no cost, daring demands everything. The truth is, you have not failed. You just have not decided to pay the price yet. The moment you commit, everything shifts. The work stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like the path to the person you want to be. If you want to break your limits, accept this. Progress is slow, applause is rare, and most days you will work alone. But if you stick with it while others quit, you will go further than you ever dreamed. Fight for your craft, not for approval, but for who you become along the way. Commit to the process, not just the outcome. Success is not a single event. It is the quiet victory of small actions repeated in the dark. Every repetition is a statement. I am willing to pay the price. At Stoic Daily, we believe those who dare to pay the price will always find the way. Drop "I pay the price" in the comments. What sacrifice will you make for your future this week? 5. Stop putting stones in your own path. Ever feel like life is burying you with problems, setbacks, or the doubts of others? Picture the old parable: a donkey trapped in a well, dirt falling on its back, shovel by shovel. Instead of surrendering, he shook off the dust and stepped up, rising higher with every obstacle until he escaped on a mountain built from what tried to bury him. The donkey never saw limits, because he never learned to believe in them. That is the lesson most forget. Every problem, every negative word, every mistake is just more dirt. You can let it pin you down, or you can shake it off and step up. Each new scoop is a chance to climb, not to disappear under the weight. But ask yourself honestly, how often do you bury yourself under your own excuses, fears, or stories of, "I can't"? How many times do you let a rough day, a criticism, or your own self-doubt become a reason to stop, forgetting that pressure can also be your platform? In real life, we often turn minor setbacks into walls. I don't have time, yet hours vanish into scrolling. I'm not talented, so you never try. It's not the right time, but when is it really? The Stoics did not curse obstacles, they trained with them. Marcus Aurelius ruled through chaos and plague, yet he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every setback became a stepping stone, not a dead end. The real trap is never outside. It is always on the mind. The drama is not what happens, but the story you tell yourself about it. Excuses are just dirt you have thrown on your own dreams, sometimes to avoid risk, more often to dodge discomfort and growth. We rehearse our fears, overanalyze each step, waiting for the perfect time that never comes. But the donkey's wisdom is timeless. Do not wait for rescue. Do not curse the dirt. Shake it off. Step up and do it again, no matter how heavy or hopeless it feels. When you use obstacles as your fuel, you rise higher, see farther, and become stronger than you ever thought possible. Here is your challenge. Stop overthinking. Stop rehearsing failure. Take one step, however small, today, then another tomorrow. Every obstacle is a stone you can stand on if you dare to climb. Ask yourself, what if this works? Not just, what if I fail? The difference is not in your circumstances. It is in the story you choose to live by. At Stoic Daily, we believe the path clears when you walk it. Drop "Today, I stop putting stones in my own path" in the comments. What is one excuse or fear you will shake off and step over today? 6. The world owes you nothing. Nothing in life is owed to you. Not success, not happiness, not recognition. And that truth, uncomfortable as it feels, is your most incredible freedom. If the world owed you, you would be stuck, waiting, powerless, always hoping for a handout or a twist of fate. But because nothing is guaranteed, you are free to build what matters with your own hands. Most people wait, hoping for the right conditions, for someone to recognize their worth, or for life to reward them on schedule. But here is the trap. The mind quietly collects expectations and turns them into a silent contract with the world. You put in hard work and feel certain you deserve that promotion. So when it goes to someone else, it stings twice. First for the loss, then for the sense of injustice. Or you give generously to others and, when you are left unsupported, you feel not just disappointment, but the belief that life has broken its promise to you. That is the root of frustration, the belief that effort always equals reward. But the world does not run on formulas. The faster you see this, the less disappointment controls your self-worth and mood. The Stoics never acted for the sake of applause or reward. They did what was right because it was right. Epictetus said, "Do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish for them to happen as they do, and you will be at peace." Life is an ocean. You can sit on the shore waiting for rescue, or you can start swimming. It is not your boss's job, or your parents, or the economy's, to rescue you. The moment you stop believing the world is unfair to you personally, you gain the power to create your own outcomes and stop replaying old grievances. So, stop waiting for opportunity and make it happen. Do not wait for motivation. Act anyway. Do not wait for approval. Decide your own worth. Do what is right because it strengthens you, not because you hope for something in return. Build your values so high that recognition becomes a natural byproduct, not the primary goal. Help others because it is who you are, not what you expect in return. Every time you shift from "why me" to "what now?", you move from powerlessness to agency. When you let go of the story that the world owes you, you start discovering how much you can achieve on your own. Only then does your effort turn into real progress, not just wishful thinking. At Stoic Daily, we believe responsibility is the key to true freedom. Drop "I take full ownership" in the comments. Where in your life will you stop waiting and start creating this week? 7. If you keep doing the same thing, you'll keep being the same. If you want a new life, you can't live by old patterns. It's simple, but most people get stuck repeating the same habits, walking the same mental pathways, expecting something to change magically. That's the quiet trap. You wake, check your phone, drag yourself to work, replay the same conversations, and wonder why you feel uninspired or stuck. It's like pressing replay on your own frustration and expecting a new story to emerge. Routine feels safe, even when it's draining you. Meanwhile, inside, a quiet voice hopes things will shift while your actions remain anchored in yesterday. It's like wishing for a different job but showing up with resignation, going through the motions, then asking why life feels flat, or longing for better health but refusing to step outside old comforts. Einstein called this insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. The Stoics didn't wait for change. They engineered it. Epictetus said, "If you wish to improve, be prepared to look like a fool and an ignorant person." Growth requires breaking the script and risking discomfort, as well as the risk of being misunderstood. The world may judge, but you're not here for the crowd. You're here to outgrow the maze you've been circling for years. Imagine your life as a labyrinth. Every time you take the same turn, you hit the same dead end. No matter how hard you wish, the only way out is to pick a new path, to experiment, to have the courage to start again with a different approach. Most people miss this. Real change rarely comes from grand gestures. It begins with a single new choice, a walk instead of snooze, an honest conversation instead of small talk, 5 minutes of reflection before the day sweeps you away. These small shifts are the first cracks that let in the light, slowly breaking the cement of old routines. This is true for work, health, relationships, and mindset. Your environment matters. Surround yourself with the same people, the same places, and the same stories, and you'll become the same version of yourself. But a small change, a new challenge, a single difficult conversation, a shift in routine can be the first break in your old maze. Here's your action. Don't wait for the right moment. Change one thing today, however small. Do the uncomfortable. If something makes you nervous, it's likely the step you need to take. Trying is already progress. Whether you succeed or fail, you gain a victory or a lesson that moves you forward. So ask yourself, are you willing to risk a new path, or will you keep walking in circles hoping for a different ending? At Stoic Daily, we believe growth demands new action. Drop "I choose a new path" in the comments. What's one thing you'll do differently today to break the loop? Discipline over dreaming. The real test isn't whether you missed a day or stalled for a while. The real test is that you kept showing up, that you refused to quit even when motivation vanished and progress crawled. It's not luck, talent, or flashes of inspiration that transform your life. It's the habits you repeat in the shadows when nobody's watching. And it's easier to make excuses. Everything you want stands on the far side of relentless daily effort, not on the other side of a lucky break. Burn this in. Every day is another chance to prove what you're made of. The people who reach their goals aren't the luckiest or the most gifted. They're the ones who build systems, who return to the work, who train their mind every single day, especially when everyone else has stopped. That's what makes you truly unstoppable. If you've made it this far, drop "I train my mind every day" in the comments so I know who the true Stoic warriors are. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and like this video so you don't miss what's next. Before you go, take a look at the playlist on the screen. It's full of wisdom, stories, and real tools to help you build your Stoic mindset. Click in and keep moving forward with us. Until next time, keep training, keep growing, and never stop embracing your inner Stoic. At Stoic Philosophy Daily, we believe your legacy is forged not by a single grand action, but by discipline in the daily grind. What's the one habit you'll strengthen this week? If you're seeking more, discover the full path on my channel, Stoic Philosophy Daily.